All right, we're back for part 3 of the interview that Mark Sieverkropp did with me. He interviewed me and talking about Blackberry Farm, my trip there, hanging out with Michael Hyatt and Amy Porterfield and Jeff Walker, and all that I took away from that. And I share some really cool stuff in this episode. So this is the third part, the end of that interview. It was just a really cool thing to be able to do that interview with him. So that's what today's episode is all about. Welcome to the Affiliate Guy podcast. If you want to grow your income, serve your tribe, and enjoy all the benefits of affiliate marketing and having your own affiliates, you're in the right place. Thanks for joining me today. Now let's get started.
In 15 of the 12 episodes, you talked about Brian Lee in this session you had. And so what was the number one takeaway? I mean, you shared a ton of them, but now that you've had the benefit of 2 months, almost, what's the one thing that you keep coming back to that was just like, wow, that is going to change everything, or I didn't realize that?
It might actually be what you just said, in part. And it is that, like, I know that to be true intellectually, that you can learn from anyone. You know, some of the best learnings I've had for our business have been from people like Walt Disney, from Genghis Khan. You know, I'm a history buff, as many of you know. So I love studying historical figures, and I love learning about things that are relevant to our business from the most unusual sources. And I think it was one of those things where, like, he wasn't an unusual source.
And now you're calling him weird. Jeez.
Yeah, no, he wasn't, I said. It was almost like it was too close. So I mean, just learning from those, that was a big one. As far as biggest takeaway from that experience, I think it's something I didn't talk about in the podcast.
Oh, we're getting exclusive content here. Take notes, folks.
I hope so. All of this has been exclusive. You have to codify. As you know, that's kind of our word of the year for our business. We have. Oh, I should have brought it. I'm going to run up and grab something in a second. Actually, I want to show you guys this.
I was supposed to remind you, Matt, to make sure you had that.
Yeah. By the way, I just remember that. I asked you to remind.
By the way, Matt, don't forget to have handy.
Guys, I've got something really, really cool to show you guys. I'm not going to grab the note that Michael wrote because it's upstairs on our bathroom mirror, and it would take me way too long to get up there and get back down. But the other one's just up on our breakfast nook. So the biggest thing I got was that you have to codify the customer service experience. You have to codify the customer's experience and your expectations for your team for how to treat customers and how to serve customers. And you do have to give them the freedom to help people and to serve people. I think it's the Ritz-Carlton. I'm almost positive that has this legendary policy where any team member is allowed to spend up to, I think it's $1,000. It might only be $500 to make a customer happy. And so there are these stories where, like, a guy got into town and his luggage was lost and he had a speech the next day, and they literally brought a tailor to his room to get his measurements and, get the suit and and like things like that. There are stories like that, from I'm almost positive it's the Ritz. And so you can kind of apply those things. Like the reasons you have to have those rules, you have rules, but it's more about codifying the experience. And so they have this list. We would love to share them with you guys. I have to find it. I'm almost positive I know where it is, but this is it's basically their it's called their 15 or 12 or whatever. I don't know what it's called, but it's what they give all of their team members. And I said, it's so good. I can't remember what it's called. But it's really powerful when you actually see it. I remember a bunch of them, and it actually just walks through. Like, one of them is to know Blackberry Farm. No matter what department you work in there, whether you're on the farm and you're growing the onions, or you work on the maintenance team, or you work with the horses, or you're You're the one who, literally brings us the stuff we ask for every day, or comes in and starts the fire for us in the fireplace. Whoever you are, you have to know Blackberry Farm. They want you to know all the history, so that when you walk into that room to bring us ginger beer or to light our fire, and I say, "Hey, that fence up there, what's that like? What's on the other side of that fence?" They know the answer. They know the answer. Your team needs to know everything. That was one of the biggest takeaways that I got in that codifying. The other one, we cover this in the podcast. I'll just share these real quick, because I know, Mark, these are big for you too. You don't have to be the best. You just have to be someone's favorite. One of the worst things that ever happened to Blackberry Farm was when, I think it was the New Yorker did an article on them. They didn't want that. They already have enough guests, and they actually want. It used to be that 80% of their guests were repeat guests. Now it's down to 60%. And you get a different type of customer when that happens at a place like that. They wanted it to. They wanted to be who they are. They were Blackberry Farm. They're not a place that you just, they're not a place you just go to because you read an article about them in the New Yorker. They're a place that you go to because someone has been raving about them for a year. That's the type of place they are. And so the point was, I believe, and they have won awards, I believe they have the best food on earth. No doubt about it.
We're not sure about Mars, but on Earth, for definitely.
I mean, guys, it's unfreaking believable. Their farm eggs, like, this is the thing, it's a slow cooked farm egg. It is literally hatched that morning, and then it's slow cooked, and it is just like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just, it's perfection. Like, I've never enjoyed salad so much in my entire life as they're fresh. These are field greens that were picked that week. And with the dressings they make and the meats, oh my goodness, and the cheeses, Blackberry Farm cheese. It's literally Blackberry Farm cheese. Like, you can't buy it. I think you can buy it there. Actually, you might be able to. It's unbelievable. Like, I'm like, what cheese was that? And it's like some word I've never heard of. And it was unbelievable. Like, I only know like 7 types of cheese, and this is like a different 5 types of cheese. And they're oh my gosh, I mean, just everything about that place. And I mean, that's not even getting in, like, I don't drink wine, but the wine's apparently unbelievable. And just everything, the desserts, the salads, the meat, the fish, the whatever, it's just unreal. But they're not necessarily the best at everything. Like, if you want, clearly, if you want like an entertainment place, it's not an entertainment place, it's a relaxation place. So it's not the best, but it's a lot of people's favorites. It's my favorite place on earth. The other thing was,
can I just say before you go on, Matt, all of us on the West Coast are getting really annoyed with you talking about food right now, because it's noon and you keep, this was so good. This was so good. And I'm like, I need food.
We do shop at the farmer's market, by the way, Tammy. And I am getting ready to go eat lunch so I'm a late lunch person. I usually don't eat lunch till like 2:30. So about a half hour ago. And the other thing was this mindset shift. He said, and it was like connecting. This is the cool thing I love about this, is like the way our minds work is we can read something or hear something a year ago and then hear something today, and we connect the dots and we formulate a new idea. I've been learning a lot about nuclear energy recently. And one of the things I learned is like the formation of nuclear energy I believe we're within like 30 years of fusion energy, by the way. That's a whole different thing. And if you take what fusion is, or even fission, you take what fission was when we came up with that in like the 1940s, that was what the A-bomb was. It's like, it's the taking of an idea from here, and here, and go, got it. And it all suddenly makes sense. And that was this, Brian Lee, the general manager at Blackberry Farm, said, to serve is a privilege. To serve is a privilege. And then I remembered something that Zig Ziglar always used to say, and that is, to sell is a privilege, or to sell is to serve. So to serve is a privilege, and to sell is to serve. Well, the inverse principle in math, if A plus B equals, C, and, whatever, then what is it? How does it? It's like, if A plus B equals C and A C plus B equals A or something like that, then they all end up equaling each other. None of that may like my math teachers are like, gosh, we failed. Oh, because I'm sure my math teachers are watching this now. They were all old. They're dead. No worries. Um, if to serve is a privilege and to sell is to serve, then to sell is a privilege. And when we have that mindset that I want to put you in this, thank you, Phil. If A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. If I to sell is to put you in a product that will serve you, then I'm serving. And that's why one of the things I love about affiliate marketing, for example, again, we're just coming off our best promo ever with Tribe with Stu McLaren, is it was easy to promote Tribe because we know it will change people's lives. Phil joined, and we know Phil's life will never be the same. And it's so easy to market a course like that.
Yeah.
If marketing is hard, if selling is hard, it actually has nothing to do with your skills. It has to do with the product. I could not go out and in good conscience sell you the TV that I'm looking at this on right now at any price over $200. It's great for what I'm using it for. It is a total piece of crap for watching, like something on Netflix. Mark looks like he has been out in the sun for a month and a half straight on this screen. It's perfect because all I ever put up there are words and I just want to be able to see him. But he looks terrible on the screen. I look over here on my MacBook Pro. Mark, you look great. Up here, you look like crap. So I would never, and it would be impossible for me to ever sell this television to you because I know it's a piece of crap. But I can sell you a MacBook Pro because I believe in them and I think they're amazing. And so it's a privilege to sell that to somebody. And I'm doing them a service. It's a privilege. And so that was a huge takeaway for me.
Do you want to go get your thing real quick?
Yes, I do. All right.
We're getting close to the end here.
What are you going to talk about? Tell me what you're going to talk about. So
I can't tell you because it might be about
transitive property. Thank you, Phil. What?
It might be about you, so I can't tell you what it's going to be about.
Turn the volume up then.
Did you see Gwen's comment? Gwen said your house must be huge because she could walk through a whole house in 17 seconds. And you said,
"Oh, you live in California."
It's too far.
Anytime I talk to somebody in California, I'm like, that's the difference between Indiana and California is you go by, like you walk, like we used to play this game when we go out to Santa Clara, and or like when we go to San Diego, we play the same game, and it's Guess the Zillow, and it's like you walk by like the crappiest house. There's no grass. The parking lot has more weeds than it says live video pause. And we're back. Okay. One of the just everything, right? The roof has a hole in it. And it's it's $1 million house. And so it's California. So I'm gonna be back. I want to share this with you guys. I want to share this with you guys.
Our next conversation will be about what you're gonna get. So don't jump in right away. No, I mean, so just a little background, guys. I mean, Matt has been talking about this trip since he got back. And to me, one of the things that's so important is to realize that we all have experiences like this, and we can all have experiences like this. Yes, this was a special thing. I mean, Blackberry Farm is very exclusive, and it's not every day that you get to spend time with Jeff Walker and Amy Porterfield and Michael Hyatt. But I mean, if we wanted to in our lives, it's not that hard to have these many takeaways from day-to-day life, whether it's a mastermind meeting, or it's a conversation in a Facebook group. If you're looking for takeaways, if you're looking for things to learn, you can find them. And I think that's the key. Matt went to this week thinking, I'm going to have some massive breakthroughs. I'm going to have some massive takeaways. And because Matt had those thoughts, well, he had those massive takeaways. So I think it's important, like we talked about, the most successful people are always looking to learn. They're always looking to find the things that will make their business better. And we can do that day by day. We can do that every single day in our lives. Matt, welcome back. I said some mean things about you, but I didn't.
I heard every word except for about 30 seconds.
Oh, now you know I'm not telling the truth. All right. So this ties into what Matt went to get, but I wanted you to tell us, Matt, a little bit about, okay, so you're at this you're at this event with these, very successful people that you've worked with, people that you've looked up to. And at one of the, I don't know if it was an actual meal, but one of the sessions,
The last dinner.
You were given very specific instructions to follow. And you either couldn't or wouldn't do it. So tell us what those instructions were.
So,
and then what happened after that?
So I tell you, I mentioned it earlier, and then maybe we'll do like one or two more questions. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask, and we'll wrap up here in about the next 12 minutes or so. So at dinner, and the question was, "What's your word of the year? What's your word for the year, based on this week or just in general?"
So let's be clear. The question was, "What was your word?" No S's. Word. Okay, carry on.
And I remember Jeff, I mentioned earlier, he said unreasonable, because he said it's unreasonable to expect to be able to grow my business and take 10 weeks off. It's unreasonable to be able to do a trip, this trip, and be able to grow my business. So there's something in this box that actually represents my word of the year. And
words.
And Tara has one too. She had a different word. Her word was discovery, and that's her part of life right now is discovery, and I think it's super powerful. And so again, this was the last night, the dinner on the last night, and they said, "What's your word of the year?" And it came to me, and I just went. I said, I've always been one of those people who feels like signs and rules are suggestions, not orders. Like the sign on the covered bridge at Blackberry Farm says, "Don't cross," and I crossed it. And
because their customer service experience is for you to be happy, and that's
they
what
can't
makes
say
you happy,
no.
right?
No is not in their vocabulary, and so mine was what if, and
no hyphen, just what if.
What?
No hyphen. It wasn't one hyphenated word. It was two words.
What if we made the hires that we need to make? What if I took all of next January off? What if I took all of every January off for a sabbatical, and for us to travel and do the things that we want to do for the entire month of January? What if that? What does that make possible, and what needs to be possible for that to happen? We can't do a client launch or a product launch in January for that to happen by definition. What if? What if we did all these things that we want to do, right? And it was more about what's possible, more about possibility and not limitations. So I said that. I said, I've got two words. Now, of course, it opened up the floodgates, and like three other people after that had two words as well.
See, all hell broke loose after you broke the rules. That's what happened.
So we get this in the mail, get a package, and I recognize the P.O. box. I know Michael's P.O. box. So I knew it was from him, and I knew they were sending something because they always do afterwards. My favorite blanket in our entire house is a Blackberry Farm blanket, that they sent us a couple of years ago. We have some other really cool Blackberry Farm stuff. I've still got like cookies. Their sorghum molasses cookies are, oh my gosh, they're the best things that ever come out of a box. I mean, they're just unbelievable. I'm down to my last ginger beer that they gave to us to bring here. And just as a side note, because it's like, this is a culinary experience, but they give you lunch when you leave. I've never had a sandwich. I would never order a sandwich at a place like Blackberry Farm, because why would you order a sandwich when there's like all this amazing, gourmet food, right? Their turkey pimento sandwich, I almost brought me to tears. I had to pull over north of Knoxville. I was just that dadgum happy eating the sandwich in the car.
I feel like you should write a testimonial for them on Yelp.
Sandwiches.
I feel like you should write that testimonial on Yelp. I had their turkey pimento sandwich, and I was just so dadgum happy.
Pull over near Rocky Top, Tennessee. Literally, there's a place called Rocky Top, Tennessee, by the way. I'm not going to sing Rocky Top, even though my kids know all the words because they're good human beings. So we get this package, and it said, I'm gonna keep opening it. I'm not ready yet. I noticed that Gail was writing down the word. Gail is Michael's wife, and I noticed she was writing it down. In fact, at one point she asked me, she's like, What was your word again?" And I said, it was 2 words. It was "what if." She's like, "Oh yeah, that's right." And I noticed that. I'm like, and I remember going, But Gail's, she's one of those people. She's a meticulous person. I was like, she just likes taking notes, at fancy dinners. And we got this note, and it said, basically, "We loved having you. We're rooting for you. We wanted you to have something to remember your word by." And Tara got a necklace with this. Hers says, of course, hers, word, which is discovery. And I got this keychain, but it's a hand card. I'm going to show it to you. Hand stamped, very simple, but very meaningful, very powerful. I don't know if that'll show up. I need probably, let's see, without dying here. There we go. And it's just a really cool way to remind, like, it's one of those things, like, I can literally pick this up and hold it and look at it, and something so simple, and instantly be transported back to everything I just shared with you guys. That moment on the mountaintop, receiving everything that we received, I can be transported back to that, like that, by looking at this. And I think that's one of the significances of mementos and things like that, and being reminded of that. Little tokens. I mean, there's some stickers on the back of my laptop. Some of them mean nothing. They're just like a sticker. This one right here, I can instantly, I think it's this one. I'm not sure which one I'm touching. I don't want to have the laptop go to sleep. But the "and" symbol, I can instantly be transported back to everything that happened when we went to, the first time Mark and I met. That entire week just floods me in a matter of seconds, from that, just every time I see that sticker. And so it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I think too, I mean, just extending that out with that conversation about what is your word. I've heard of people doing that. I've never done it until recently. And here's the reason why, because it was it was impactful for you because you told me about it. But I know it was impactful for Jeff because Jeff talked about it in our mastermind meeting, 3 weeks later, and had everybody in the room do the same conversation and talk about it and think about what their word was. And it was impactful for me. So I would encourage you. I mean, I always kind of thought, it's kind of corny, I'll be honest. But when I did it and I started asking myself, what is the one word? Because I'm a rule follower. Actually, I'm not. I'm a rule breaker too. So if I came up with 2, I would use it. But when I started thinking, what is my one word? Like, it's interesting how everything that you do, everything, like, it just allows you to distill down what's really important to me right now. What's really the thing that I value and that I'm focused on and that I care about. And it was so cool to see in that room, because obviously I wasn't at Blackberry, but to see in the room in the mastermind meeting, everybody's different words and how it really, like, you could tell the people that really focused on it, because there was one person that I don't think really focused on it. I don't talk about that. But
that's an inside story. That was
Can I tell this story? Can I tell that? Is that okay?
Yeah.
So we're at lunch, and Jeff said, "I want you to write down your words, and then you're going to go to lunch. I want you to sit with people you don't know, and I want you to share your word or your words." I think he said 3 words. And so we're sitting there, and everybody shares. And there was a lady at the table that was a rule follower.
Oh my goodness!
Big time, But there was this guy, and he was just kind of a goofball, and quite honestly, it started to drive me nuts a little bit. But he really liked Washington apples. But he's sitting there, and so this lady that's a rule follower is like, "So okay, so and so, what were your 3 words?" And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "Your 3 words. What were they? We're supposed to share them. What were your words?" And he's like, "Oh, let me look." And he pulls out his laptop. He's like, "Yeah, I was typing." And he's looking at the screen, looking through his notes. And Matt and I are sitting on either side of him, and I can see his screen, and there's literally nothing on his screen. Nothing. It's a complete blank screen. And so he looks at it like he's reading through all of his notes, and he's like, "No, I didn't get it."
Oh man!
And so she will not let him go. Like, she's like, "No. I like to do what we're asked to do, and we were asked to share our 3 words, and I would like to know what your 3 words are."
And you and I kind of glanced at each other, and it's like, Guys, literally, he's opening up, pretending like there's something on there. There's nothing on there's nothing on the screen. It is a blank Google Drive doc, I think, or like a blank Word doc. And he's like, yeah. And but the best part of it was that he like scrolled forever. And I'm like, how do you? I mean, like, here's the thing. If you asked me what my 3 words were, I think I had to be like, what's my third one?
Yeah,
because it wasn't that impactful to me.
right.
But the first one was what if, and then my other one meant something to me, and the last one, like, it was it blows me away because I'm like, how do you not do this? But if you sat with this guy, it was
awesome.
I got to be honest,
so funny.
It's the first time I've been to a conference, dead serious, and ever not liked somebody.
And to me, like, I think he was and he was really good at what he did, apparently, from what I hear. But I think he was just trying too hard. Like, to me, he was just really trying too hard. But yeah, it was just hilarious. I saw Pam ask what my words were.
Ooh,
I don't remember. Do you remember what my words were?
Your words? Either do I. I'm gonna go grab my notebook.
I wish I had my notebook from Launch Club. I don't have it with me. It's back home. So I will, Pam, I will look them up and tell you what they are if they are. I'm trying to remember what they were. Man, that makes me feel like a terrible person. They were really impactful.
This is actually my
really
launch. I know one of them was.
So did you write down mine?
My Launch Club notebook.
Did you write down mine?
What?
You probably did. You're nice like that. Did you write down my words?
Write yours down.
Jim said, "Open up the Google Doc and check."
No, it's not on Mark's forehead.
Nope.
I remember. The other one.
You remember 2 of yours or 2 of mine?
2 of mine. Again, why would I remember?
You probably wrote down mine. You probably did.
Oh, I remember why I remember 2 of them, and not the third one. I never had a third one.
Yeah, I remember. You did say that.
I genuinely, I said these 2 are the only ones. So it was what if and breakthrough.
See, he broke the rules again. He broke the rules again. He was told that he
only had 3 words. And how many words did I have?
That is true. Valid point.
What if and breakthrough?
Touche.
Hey, hang on. Pick that up and. So yeah.
All right. So I mean, guys, as we're winding down here, I mean, if you have any questions from Matt about BlackBerry, about what he learned, then please ask them and we can share those. But I'm trying to think here, Matt.
You go to a blank page here and just be like,
right.
No.
If there's any other specific things. No. You kind of jumped into one thing, and maybe while people are asking any final questions.
Can I just say something real quick? Sorry, back to that story. The funniest part is it was the last part before we went to lunch. So
it's not like he forgot it from earlier. Yeah.
Maybe at the bottom of your notes or towards the bottom, like at the 90% mark, maybe you wrote some stuff down afterwards. But like, why do you? No, it was like he was scrolling. It was like he was scrolling through a Kindle book. It was 392 pages long. He's like, no. And like I said, man. Mark and I are just going. Anyway,
it was awesome. And now I feel like I'm as bad as him. Phil said, and Mark remembers none of them. No, I don't remember any of mine. I think no, I do. Okay, so here was my number one. I remember my number one word. My number one word was invest.
Yes, it was.
And because the big breakthrough for me this year has been that I've got to the point where I can actually invest.
This is powerful, yeah.
In myself. I've always had this mindset, and I think a lot of people do, and I think it's just the way you're raised and stuff, but and culture. But I've looked at like a course, or I've looked at things, and I've seen it as a cost. And it's only in the last year or so that I've started realizing that those are investments. And I realized that I haven't been making the strides that I want in my life because I'm not willing to invest in myself. For example, I bought Best Year Ever last year. Now, let me be clear. I have used some of it before and whatnot, but I paid for it this year and I went through it. And that was a game changer for me. The other big one is I've wanted to get in better shape and I've wanted to lose weight for like 10 years. Like ever since my daughter was born, I gained like 30 pounds and I haven't lost it. And I don't know how that works, but that's the way it worked. This year, I invested in paying to go to a gym and paying to have a trainer. And, I've dropped like 10% body fat, and I've gained a ton of muscle. And And so to me, that's been my big word. And I honestly feel, I don't remember the last two because they weren't as impactful as that first one. But the first one was invest. It was in being willing to invest in myself and invest in my learning and my growth.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And I mean, it's not just money. It's time.
Mhm.
It's attitude.
Yep.
It's being willing to. Sometimes it's just I don't even know how to describe it. But I mean, we that shift for me has come in phases. It's like, okay, I'll invest 20%, and then I'll invest 40 and 60 and 80. And now I feel like I'm at like mentally, I'm at probably like 90, and then I would say in actions, I'm at about 85, but it was just like, I mean, there's just things that we've invested in where it's just like, I know this is the right thing, so I'm going to do it. Again, sometimes it's time, sometimes it's money, sometimes it's
Yeah.
sometimes it's in it. This kind of ties into all of them. It's a relationship, investing in a relationship. I know for me, I've talked about this in List Launch Academy, where I talk about there's this site. I don't even remember the site. I mean, it's just kind of sad, but I downloaded a lead magnet that was like something like 50, texts that you can send to your wife. It's a swipe file. And one of the things that I invested in is it's 20 seconds a day. But I have to interrupt something that I'm doing to do this. Is that sometime between noon and 3 every day, I send a text to my wife, who's often just upstairs. But it's a message on her phone that tells her that I love her. And I will admit that for the longest time, I had to set a calendar reminder to remember to actually do that. But I invested in setting the calendar reminder. I took the time to do that. And sometimes it's hard because, like, if I hadn't sent it, literally right before we got on this Facebook Live, then I wouldn't have been able. I might not have sent it because, I'm busy, right? And it's just little things like that. Investing in relationships, which does sometimes mean spending money, because maybe it's a business relationship.
Right.
I will just tell you guys, you want to connect with influencers. It's not cheap. It's not expensive, but it's not cheap. It's not free. You're going to have to spend a lot of time, and some capital. You're going to have to spend a little bit of money. Send them something in the mail. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could just be a thank you note. But I'll tell you, there was a time in life, thankfully it's been a long time, where I had to agonize about whether or not I could buy a box of thank you notes and postage. But I did it because I knew that it would have a high ROI in the long run. And, it's just investing. So I love that word, Mark.
Robbie just joined us. He must have known we were talking about him.
Nice.
He actually did know we were talking about him because I texted him and asked if we could. Hi, Robbie.
Right.
Good to see you. No, guys, I mean, this was, to me, I think the cool thing about a really impactful experience, like Matt was saying earlier, when you talk about it, when you share it, it's impactful for other people. And I hope that this has been impactful for you. If you haven't, go listen to all those episodes. There's a lot of them. But luckily, Matt doesn't talk nearly as much on his podcast as he does on Facebook Live. So they're not as long. They're not as long. It doesn't take a long time to listen to, but there's some really, really good takeaways. There's a lot of stuff that we didn't get to, Matt, that I would have loved to have asked you about. One of them was why you like peanut butter and jelly so much, because you talk about that in one of the episodes. And I'm just going to leave it at that. And you're going to have to go listen to the episode and listen to the one about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So there's an open loop for you. But Matt McWilliams,
what episode I talked about peanut butter.
You don't remember that?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, you'll have to go listen to your episodes then. I'm not giving it away. People are gonna have to go listen. I'm not telling them.
Gosh, I have to go listen to my own podcast now.
Right? But mattmcwilliams.com/blackberry, and you can listen to all of those. If there's somebody else that you think would be interested, please share it with them. There's a lot of really good stuff. Some of the stuff we talked about today, some of the stuff that we didn't get to today. But it was super impactful for Matt, but also for me, because he shared it with me, and for our business, and for the things that we're doing for you guys. And you'll see some of that coming as we continue going forward. We're definitely implementing a lot of this stuff. So anything you want to say at the end, Matt?
No, Thank you, Mark. That was a fun interview, man. That was. We'll do this again, guys. I hope you guys like this. Gwen, Tammy, Nicole, Phil, Robbie, joined. I know Mark Ross. Gosh, I know I'm forgetting like a dozen names there. All you guys are awesome. Thanks for the awesome comments. Let's see if I can find anybody else. Jim, yes.
Nicole, Jim, Dell, Kurt.
Dell,
I think I
that's
saw
right,
Kurt on for a few. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, well, guys, thank you so much. And we will see you again next Friday. We're going to cover,
Yes.
we are going to talk about what ended up being our best affiliate promotion ever. I've actually got a podcast episode that just went live like an hour ago about what was our best affiliate promotion ever and something crazy we did on the last day. Absolutely insane.
How's that for a open loop?
And you got to go listen to that. So go listen to that. Just make sure you subscribe, iTunes. We're on Spotify now. Make sure, however you listen to podcasts, you subscribe to the Affiliate Guy podcast and go listen to that newest episode. And then go listen to these 12 episodes as well. If you put you on there. And then make sure you join us next Friday because we're going to talk about the new greatest affiliate promotion that we've ever had. It just ended yesterday. You guys know what it is. It was Stu McLaren's Tribe. But it was by far our best in terms of financial impact, which was awesome. So go check that out. And we'll see you then. We'll see you on the podcast. We'll see you on the blog. See you in the videos. All that fun stuff. Have an awesome weekend, guys. Thanks, Mark.
See you guys.
Thank you so much for listening today. Remember to check out all of our deep dives into affiliate marketing at theaffiliateguy.tv. And if you have a question, you can ask it at asktheaffiliateguy.com. Who knows? Might end up being featured on this podcast.